All the model minifigures come back to life. The man was puzzled, and the minifigures trip him up. Eddie tells the cowboys to tie the man up. The cowboys waved the rope and threw it around. The man on the other side catches the rope and ties it to the nail. The men are tied tightly, and a train is coming at great speed. The man wanted the train to stop, but Jetty ordered it to go full speed ahead. As a result, the man stopped cooperating. He breaks free of the rope. Sitting up, he bounced the mini off. However, the Roman archers were ready. On command, the bow and arrows are fired at the man. It did little damage, but the man was still helpless, and he was humiliated. The man's name is Larry, but he didn't have a proper job yet. His wife divorced him and remarried. If Larry doesn't have a job, he would lose visitation rights to his son, so he pays for a job as a administrator. The old man who had been laid off felt resentful at being replaced. The old man told Larry to follow the instructions to the letter. He told Larry not to be afraid at night, and Larry didn't care because he wasn't afraid of ghosts. At night, Larry went to put the water in. He suddenly realized something was wrong. The Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil was missing from the exhibition hall. Larry rushed to find it, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex was drinking water in the corner. Larry drops his torch. The sound startles the Tyrannosaurus. It roared. Larry immediately runs away. The Tyrannosaurus was in hot pursuit. Larry can't outrun the T-Rex. He rushes to pull out his emergency manual. Should he play dead or throw a bone in this situation? Larry chooses to throw the bone. After the T-Rex leaves, Larry immediately runs away, but then the Tyrannosaurus Rex appears. He seems to be able to teleport. The Tyrannosaurus throws the bone in front of Larry. Then it came towards Larry. And then Larry couldn't believe it. The Tyrannosaurus was like a puppy, so he tossed the bone into the distance. Was a night that Larry would never forget. He met Attila the Hun. He also met the legendary woman Sakai Wee, and finally, he met Jedediah, the cowboy of the West. He was the first American to enter California. Jedediah was responsible for the westward movement of America. The Americans tried to sacrifice Larry alive, but the train derailed from the track. The rope around Larry's body was also broken. That's when the Romans appeared. They ordered their archers to open fire. Larry was unprepared. Suddenly, an older man on a horse saved Larry. It was Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States. He answers Larry's questions. The source of the confusion was this drawing board. At dawn, everything is restored. Larry is frantically studying the history of the world. Because knowledge is power, he will no longer be afraid of anything in the museum. The man breaks off the fossil's rib cage. Then the bones were strapped to a remote control car. He looks at the time, and then Larry turns on the remote control. The Tyrannosaurus Rex came back to life just in time. He ran like a puppy drawn to the bone. A simple dog walking was born. It's a magical museum. All the exhibits come to life after midnight. The primitive man is struggling to get a fire. Larry hands over a lighter. The Roman general Octavian was at odds with Jedediah. He brought the two men out alone. He tells them to calm down. Larry's first day on the job, he had his keys stolen by a monkey. The monkey even peed on Larry. Larry didn't get mad at the monkey. He came up with a solution. He changed the key to a plastic one. The monkeys were easily tricked. Larry met Attila the Hun. Attila was obsessed with magic and witchcraft, but he was eccentric and liked to kill. Larry tricks Attila with magic tricks. Attila was pleased, but Larry made a mistake in his performance. Attila was angry and felt cheated. Then Attila ordered Larry's punishment. The wild animal suddenly went on a rampage. Attila fled immediately in fear. The museum was in chaos. The statue is stuck to the gum. The cowboys and the Roman soldiers were fighting. Larry tries to mediate, but they couldn't communicate at all. The primitive man plays with fire and burns his hair. Larry grabs a fire extinguisher and sprays it out just in time. The primitives were shocked. This monkey was very annoying. He stole the keys and was very arrogant. Larry tried to get the keys to him. As a result, things started to get out of hand. Roosevelt arrives just in time. He easily got the key from the monkey. The museum was in shambles. The curator tried to fire Larry. However, Larry's son sees the scene. Larry loses his job and loses visitation rights to his son. This was Larry's ex-wife's condition, but with Larry's pleading, curator agrees to let Larry try it out for one more night. But all the son knows is that his father will be sacked. Larry wanted to prove he was still working, so he wanted to show his son a different kind of museum, but the Tyrannosaurus Rex didn't come back to life. The board that brought everything back to life had also disappeared. The son thought Larry was lying to him. Father and son follow the clues. They discovered that the old caretakers had stolen the board. The caretakers wanted to take the board out of the museum. At Larry's request, the son flipped the gold nuggets inside the drawing board. Then all the museum's exhibits came back to life. The old man tried to take it. The old man came at Larry with a furious look on his face. Larry didn't want to hurt the old man. At the end, Larry was beaten up. He was still locked up in the Pharaoh's exhibit. The three old men left with the drawing board. Larry had no way to call for help. He also attracted Anubis, the god of death. Anubis, the god of death, approaches the men. From the coffin came the sounds of the pharaoh struggling. Larry thought of a way. He took his son to escape the attack. They went deeper into the tomb. Larry pushed open the coffin of the pharaoh. He pulled out the pin and freed the pharaoh. Anubis frightened Larry. "Is that one of your men? Can you make him stand down?" The pharaoh bids Anubis back. Turns to Larry again. Larry was so scared that he backed away, but the pharaoh didn't want to hurt Larry. He took the cloth off his hat. Pharaoh said he was bored in there.
How can you speak English?
I went to Cambridge University.
Let's say I studied there. This man claims to be an admiral of the 4th dynasty of Egypt, but Larry's history is not good. Then admiral asked Larry for the board. Larry said the board had been stolen. Then they went to the museum gallery. The scene before them left the two men helpless. They couldn't recover it all. At that moment, Attila, the Hun, arrived. Larry rushed over with the pharaoh in tow. The two men exchanged a brief greeting. They exchanged a few words. Larry thought the other man was concerned about him. He responded politely to Attila. Pharaoh said he knew Hungarian. Attila wanted to tear Larry to pieces. And Shawn gave a speech. "You were brought back to life because of the pharaoh's drawing board. Now it's been stolen by 3 old men. We have to get it back before dawn. Otherwise you'll disappear if you touch the sun. Brothers, you go to the observatory and look for it." What's your name again? Llamas. You'll take the cavemen to the reptile area. You deflate the old man's car tires. So they took on this glorious mission. At this point, the old man was hiding with his drawing board and he ends up driving away. So Larry broke the glass and let Sakai out. He needed Sakai to find the old man. Sakai looked at the tire tracks. He
went east and then flipped the car.
That's impressive. How did you know that? Soon Larry spotted the old man running away. Larry finally got the drawing board back. So the question arises, how did they summon back the exhibit before dawn? He handed the drawing board to the pharaoh. The pharaoh chanted a spell and the board has a reaction. Then all the revived exhibits returned to the museum. The public was shocked by the spectacle. After taking stock of all the exhibits, the sun came up. Everything was back to normal. Only the rubbish was left behind. But for last night's bizarre phenomenon, the curator needed a reasonable explanation. But Larry couldn't explain it at all. He was fired again by the curator. But soon they were dumbfounded. The museum, which had been deserted, was full of visitors. It seems that last night's advertisement was quite successful. By the end of the story, Larry is officially the museum administrator. The son's opinion of Larry has changed dramatically, and that's the end of the film.